So from time to time, somebody in the Guild Wars 2 community comes by one of my videos and thinks like, damn, this guy is not happy. He hates the game. Well, if you don't like it, bro, just play something else. Usually it's said in much less eloquent words. Usually they criticize me or my tone of voice or demeanor in some kind of way. So let me ask you a question. Are videos like this? Welcome everybody. Guild Wars 2 is a very scary place and I want to help you guys as much as I can. That is my goal. This game is amazing and don't forget I'm an ArenaNet partner and use my referral link. Also follow me on twitch.tv. There is nothing ever wrong with this game. The devs always have a good reason for why something might not be perfect, but don't worry. In my other video on 15 new player essentials, you will see why this game is actually perfect. Don't forget my referral link. Man, get the fuck out of here. Are videos like that actually good for the game and the community? Or are they self-serving? Are they an advertisement disguised as being helpful? I have said that many times in my videos, and I'm trying to highlight some of the problem areas with the nature of discourse around this game. And this is not something that is that uncommon to gaming or even organizations in real life. When I was in the military, there was a saying that leadership tossed around from time to time: a bitching sailor is a happy sailor. It's an old phrase that basically means that if the crew members are complaining, they still care about their job and position, and it's a way of coping with stress overall. Ironically enough, when I first spoke out criticizing the game in any kind of structured sense, it received a lot of mixed reviews. It was the first video that kind of broke me into the Guild Wars 2 scene as far as like audience, and was reacted to by various partners at the time. At this point of my YouTube journey, I had something like 2,000 subscribers or something, and I was just making observations about the community in general because nobody was really criticizing the game, even though we were in the midst of the Soto release cycle. Secrets of the Obscure, the release cycle, was some of the worst release for the mini expansions, by the way. I think people look back on that time with rose-tinted glasses nowadays, but overall, it was a shit show. But despite the mixed reviews, it actually garnered a lot of praise, or at least agreement, from the longest standing community members, and then life went on. The thing is, in the Guild Wars 2 community and the culture of the game, criticism is not warranted. It is almost always met with just play something else, or something along the lines of, then just take a break, man, just walk away from it, come back later. Which in my opinion is one of the worst mentalities to have, especially within MMORPG. Complaining is caring. It means that I am invested in fixing problems, maintaining a standard, and ideally improving the game. I think the vast majority of you guys understand this concept as a whole, and I believe that the ArenaNet employees who accepted me into the partner program also recognize this, that having somebody like me who is willing to give them critical feedback or push back against design decisions, narrative directions, or balanced philosophies is actually beneficial, because people don't actually do that. There is very little feedback from an apathetic community, or a community that will only elevate praise. Speaking out against design decisions through YouTube videos, through Reddit posts, through official forum posts, and now on the official Discord is one of the only ways to get notable changes made. These things don't happen overnight. The devs aren't omniscient. We have had quite a few leaks and peeks behind the curtain with ANET Solar, with Jessica Price, and we know that these people are just people like you and me, making best guesses, being guided by their own personal ideologies and philosophies. The balance manifestos, the overarching guidance or limitations that the studio puts on themselves is all basically public service. There is no balance philosophy that is held up patch after patch with any consistency. The reality is that the game is bloated, and the team responsible for balance cannot and will never be as in tune with the game that they manage as the players that put hundreds, if not thousands of hours into a game mode or a single class. Does this not resonate? Like the Fractal Gods, the Fractal Speedrunners, the Raid Sellers, they know know every single interaction of a raid wing. They know what walls can be teleported through. They know what attacks can be distorted or evaded. They know what tile of the floor is unaffected by an area-wide debuff, or any and every unintended interaction between the boss and the player. Similarly, the PvP game modes, World vs. World and SPvP, were largely neglected for years and years, only recently being highlighted as a point of work on the new Borderland coming up with the quality of life period that we're about to go into. World vs. World is its own animal, and frankly, I think its primary problems are the reward structure of the game. There are ways to circumvent it, but ultimately for years there was no point. Winning and losing didn't matter. Participation was upkept through slamming Zergs into each other instead of capturing objectives, and the best players all ended up socializing on a single server, which is still the case now. Realistically, World vs. World is the only area of Guild Wars 2 that has any actual social interaction or MMO flavor left in it. The World vs. World communities made their own content for like a decade without any love from the developers. I still think that the pip system, the little 10-minute participation limit, and the periodic rewards on a set timer are all really lame. It took me forever to get Conflux because of the World vs. World skirmish claim tickets, which now have other acquisition methods, largely because the World vs. World community and community at large started to bitch about it and brought things up to the developers. There are, of course, problems that the community cannot fix, like SPvP's biggest problem is that there just aren't enough players to actually fill out proper ranking. The matches largely have a large split in MMR or ELO between players, and the difference in skill from somebody in like high silver versus low platinum is huge if both players have had enough games to properly sit at that ELO. Believe it or not, I actually love competitive games. Before I got married and have kids, I would play Guild Wars 2 for the PvE, and I would play League of Legends for the PvP, because in League of Legends, outside of the random Smurf account, you likely are going to be playing with players of a similar skill level, regardless of the time of day. In Guild Wars 2 PvP, you are lucky to get a Q pop during non-peak playtime, and if you do, the map will be filled with players all over the place in the ladder, often resulting in extremely one-sided matches. The players don't have an opportunity to effectively learn because the population to fill these matches doesn't exist, so you either end up getting stomped or your team does the stomping, which is unfun, and then people say, I don't really like this, and then they leave, and then that further exacerbates the problem. One of the main things that I noticed about the Guild Wars 2 community is the complete echo chamber it has on Glazing the game. The vast majority of content creators that are of note are unemployed. Well, I say that in jest, self-employed. Their family's income relies on their ability to turn conversions to maintain viewership, and they do so by standing as even-keeled as possible. They want to be as marketable to advertisers, to other studios, and to the general player base as they can, which only makes sense if you need people to use your referral link or you want advertisers to sponsor you. You want to convince people to either stick with or play the game that you are playing. This is what Captain Crapface meant in his video talking about quitting Guild Wars 2. Now, I want to be clear, my goals here are not that. My goals are to help the developers fix actual problems instead of just ignoring them and pretending like they don't exist, and more so validating community members who also feel that these problems should be addressed. Believe it or not, the unemployed full-time gamer is not the target audience of Guild Wars 2 or Guild Wars games in general. They've always marketed themselves as the casual MMO, the MMO that you can put down or play on a limited schedule, which means, you guessed it, I am actually the target audience. That is why I was able to play this game while I was getting deployed for months on end in the Navy. This is why I was able to play this game when I was in college, after my son was born, and while maintaining a full-time job, a marriage, and raise a family. Was this the ideal market for the game? Maybe not. They wanted it to be an MLG, sweaty PvP game, but the core values of the studio of no FOMO, no subscriptions, buy once, play forever has always appealed more so to the less invested audience, people who want to hop in, run some dungeons, work on a legendary, or just hang out on Discord doing dailies. Have I criticized this exact thing in the past? Absolutely. I do think the vast majority of this audience, the gamer dads, the busy people, would still rather pay more to get more. They would rather pay $50 to get a fully released expansion if it's fleshed out on day one. They would rather pay more to get regular balance updates and attention on issues that bother them and take down their gaming enjoyment. The idea that I should just instead walk away and play something else is the exact reason why the community is in the state that it's in. People get a high level of competency and then they leave the game entirely. There is no new mini X-Pack or quarterly release that will help with that, despite the content largely being of acceptable quality. Let's use an analogy. If you go to a steakhouse and the service is slow or the food is cooked improperly, you are going to need more than just a promise of this time we will do it right. The food will be cooked right and the service will be on time. You need more to rebuild that trust. And before Guild Wars 3's announcement, a large number of community members had speculated that based on the quality and cadence of releases, a large amount of the studio was working on something else. And we were right. We were basically right about everything: an alternate project, limited dev team, and most important part, the continued development of Guild Wars 2 post Guild Wars 3 launch. What I discuss now and in my feedback of the mini expansions largely is meant to help the developers highlight problem areas with their current model. This is a real opportunity to revisit it and reinvent what a post Guild Wars 3 Guild Wars 2 looks like. And frankly, I think fully formed 2-year expansion cycle, $30 to $40 price tag, and no bullshit. You get everything up front from day one. Similar with Guild Wars Reforged. I want Guild Wars Reforged campaigns 2. I think 2 weeks has been doing great. I love what they've added so far. But I think if you do a 2-year expansion release, sell it for a little bit more, give everything on day one, and then 2 years until the next one, I think that's a realistic model that can work. But for right now, I am excited for the Hall of Monuments journey. I am excited about finishing up Guild Wars 2 properly and moving on to Guild Wars 3. I've been playing a ton of ARPGs and Souls-likes like Stellar Blade, which is the video you're watching now. And with that said, the developers already said they are taking elements away from ARPGs and incorporating them into Guild Wars 3. I would love to see gameplay footage. And I said, thank God they're doing something different. And maybe you don't feel the same. Maybe that's not something you're into. Maybe you were in the I want Guild Wars 2 forever crowd, and that's fine. But anyways, I could always count on my comment section for inspiration for a video. So thank you for that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I am an ArenaNet partner. Referral link is in the description. I'm getting ready for the Visions of Eternity finale. I'm really hoping it's good. It's right around the corner. With that, thank you for watching. A big thanks to all of my subscribers and a special thanks to all of my members who support the channel. Thanks again, and I will catch you on the next piece.